So this is where I think this is another example of where the Federal Reserve, I think, does wreak havoc with the economy. And I do think what the Austrian economists are saying to along those lines is very true, that the boom-bust cycles are largely created by the banking system. Again, if you got the government involved with monetary issues, you know, that might help, because as it stands right now, the government, the Congress for the most part, does not control monetary issues. It largely let the Federal Reserve, upon the Federal Reserve's wishes, it let the Federal Reserve be independent of Congress. And that is the big problem. I mean, you yourself have had to see in the last so many years H.R. 1207 and Senate Bill, I forget the Senate bill, there was a bill in the Senate, there was a bill in both houses that to audit the Fed. And I think decades ago there was a bill to audit the Fed, and that bill got watered down. But the fact that the Congress can't actually control monetary issues is a big problem. Because, again, if the Congress wasn't beholden to the financial institutions, I believe, like Wall Street and central banking, they would be more beholden to the people. And if the people took much more of a concern on the commonwealth of, you know, more of it being like people's money, and they then the Congress, I do believe, would serve the people better, because from the beginning, I think the Constitution stated that the Congress was involved with the issuance of money, but Congress handed that responsibility over to the Federal Reserve. And now, it's, I suppose from what I read, the Federal Reserve charges interest. They charge a fee for these things. So now we have a debt that's $14 trillion. Every year we have budget deficits, which the budget deficits, I suppose the Congress still does rule on, because that's budget and that's not monetary. But the whole thing, I believe, is that the individual can only control his or her spending and his or her own monetary issues, but we cannot. We're not involved in inflating the money supply. If you and me are like work for the same company, if we work for a company, or if we're CEO of a company, companies can't inflate the money supply either. Now, again, it's something my father stated to me. Companies can hurt things too by, you know, individual small businesses or larger businesses. They can hurt things too if their production is inefficient. So if they start to cut corners because they know they can save costs, and their product might not be as good, okay, that's weakening things too. But even still, that's still not the ability for an individual or a business to control prices, so to speak. The companies can't they can't really price fix and control wages in the way that governments can, because especially small businesses, you know, they can't monopolize. Now, on the in the financial sector, I think you saw with the bailouts, and a lot of people saw with these bailouts, there was a monopolizing effect taking hold. That's the system. Every time that happens, these big institutions, financial institutions, are too big to fail, which I think is another fallacy, but the system is created that way, and that's another thing that the Austrian economic system addresses that I believe is right. These people can't be given free money, money that comes out of nowhere.